Good morning, it's 5 a.m. I'm bouncing off the walls. I've been here for about an hour. I've had my 2 Weet-Bix, my 14 espressos, a couple of lattes, had my medication, probably maybe too much or too little, I don't know, but I'm very, very excited. Today we're going to be working on a very special bike that's going to be featured on Saturday next door at Corse Motorcycles. It's the new V4 SP model. So we're doing the paint protection, we're going to decon wash it, clean it, and then apply all our products to the bike ready for Saturday. So it looks amazing, and it also will sort of be protected from elements and stuff like that when the owner takes it for delivery to ride and enjoy. So we're going to go through here. This is the washroom. It's a decontamination area, strictly no admittance. There's lots of scary stuff through here. It's very dirty, it's very sort of seedy. It's, you know, if you take a wrong corner, you know, who knows where you'll end up. But no, this is like, the showroom's very, very clean and nice, and this is where the dirty stuff happens, and I like to keep them both separate. So clean, dirty. So we're going to go through here. I don't know how it's going to go. Now, it's pouring down with rain. It's been raining for the last probably 6 years now. It's actually been 6 weeks, but it feels like 6 years. I haven't ridden a bike in God knows how long. But anyway, I'm going to grab this thing and we're going to go through here and have a look, and we'll check out the SP before I wash it, and then blow dry it, and then give it a bit of a trim, prune. Actually, I need a haircut. All right, let's go through. So let's turn this thing around. Ooh, warm. All right, let's go. Wow, okay, so dirty, dirty, dirty. Be prepared. Whoa, there's the SP. So it's all set up, ready to go, and we're going to give it a bit of a clean first, get rid of all that factory chain lube that comes with it all. So get rid of that, decon wash it, and then start with the paint protection. Big thing, obviously, dry clutch. We want to pack that up. Now, you know, notice all these handprints and marks. That is perfect. That's how I wanted it to be, because the guys know whenever I'm doing paint protection on a new bike, just to leave it, because I'll clean it properly and won't leave any sort of damage on it and enhance it. So this is it. So yeah, so we'll go through today sort of the steps, and also we'll do a bit of a run through. Check out those cool carbon wheels. They look epic. And yeah, we'll go from there. All right, guys, let's do it. All right, so we've done the decon wash, got rid of all the chain lube and grime, took off all the factory warning stickers and labels and stuff like that. Now, the next sort of step in it is we're going to glass coat the beautiful carbon fibre wheels. A few things I've noted sort of in doing the wash, because, you know, you spend a bit of time, the wash and the dry, you know, blow drying and shampoo, conditioners and stuff like that, you know. And then obviously washing the bike as well. Gotcha. Is all the little details, like you think it's fairly flat, you know, matte black, understated. It's got so many little unique, and I think this angle here that you're seeing, I love the little Italian flag on the carbon winglets, you know, the Panigale V4 SP decal, even the Brembo brakes, you know, they're a slightly different model to the V4 S and so on, than the Ducati Corse logo. Now, this one's been fitted with a couple of extras from Corse Motorcycles. They've done the carbon side covers. One thing not happy about, and Ant, I'm going to tell you now, is if you look properly, you can just see the label underneath, because you should have removed that first or called me in to remove it. So now I'm going to have to get like a little scalpel and cut that, because that's just going to do my head in, seeing that little sort of bit. And you're never going to see it because obviously it's on this side when the bike's leaning down and when the rider's on, but I see it and it sort of messes with me. Other than that, it is definitely a very, very, very special bike. So I'm going to get cracking onto it and get the wheels done. So we decon wipe everything, make sure they're 100% clean before we coat them, and then we'll start on to the next sort of part of it all. So yeah, less talking, more action. Let's do it. All the carbon has been treated, so we've done the wheels, the clutch cover, the winglets, the front guard, the heel covers, or the heel guards I should say, and the frame covers. They've all been treated with the glass coat. We've also done the brakes, the forks, and parts of the exhaust because it's a high temp coating. Also rear sets and a little bit of the swing arm. just to protect it all and give it more of a uniform finish. So the next part we're going to move on to now is the unpainted plastics. Now, plastics from sort of, I would say, every single manufacturer over the last, say, year or so has really changed. They no longer use the word plastic or injection molding or stuff like that. It's all composite. Composite to me means just a fancy word of mixing up a whole bunch of crap into like a pot and then making their plastic parts, and every manufacturer is exactly the same. The finishes on a lot of the plastics are very mottled. It's almost like they're just mixing it up with a big sort of stick and then pouring it in, and whatever comes, comes. There's no more of that sort of uniform, nice finish. So the only thing that we can do is try and give it sort of obviously A, protection, B, more of a uniform sort of, you know, semi-gloss finish, just to protect it. And especially here in Australia, we've got no, what's it called? I can't even remember because we haven't had it for so long. Ozone. That's right. We don't really have an ozone layer here in Australia. So, and it gets very, very hot here. Think kind of Mars. That's Australia. So our plastics don't last as long as, say, you know, guys and girls in Europe, where you have a beautiful ozone layer. Funny thing is, apparently you guys were the ones that stuffed it up, but it went to us. So I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, we need to protect plastics and make them look better, but also withstand the harsh, you know, climate we've got here in Australia. So that's the next part we're going to move on to now. Okay, so plastics are all treated. They look far better than when they came out of the factory. They've got a uniform finish. They're going to protect from the UV rays, the subsonics, you know, frequencies that get through and dry them out and make them look bleached and ugly. Next part of the SP is we're going to treat all the rubbers. Now, there's lots of rubbers on every single bike that I deal with. And I'm not talking about the tyres, because we'll get onto that a bit later, but the rubbers, as in argument's sake, the little rubber boots that you can see on the top of the Öhlins. Rubber is actually a natural product. It comes from the rubber tree. It's highly refined to give obviously whatever sort of aspect it's being used in. But what we want to do is we want to treat them, put oils back into the rubber, keep them soft and supple, and stop them from drying out and cracking, because sometimes, you know, after a while the rubbers will dry out, they will crack, and it's a pain in the ass to have to replace certain parts of the bike because they're not always in the easiest spot to sort of remove and swap out. And also, byproduct is it looks really nice and treated, gives it that black, deep, you know, rich look, and it's just, again, it's functional and it's obviously visually appealing. So that's the next part that we're going to get onto. So we're on to one of the last parts of the paint protection detail. Now, just want to talk a little bit about matte paints. Now, Ducati have had this matte paint since, I would say, 2016, 17. It first came on the scene with the XDR, and it's a very matte paint. And when I say matte paint, there's that many different manufacturers, and I'm talking motorcycle manufacturers, that do models in matte paint, and a lot of them will have a clear coat over it, but a finished matte clear coat, which gives a sort of slightly deeper sheen, or like a satin finish, as opposed to a matte. On the SP, this is like almost a chalkboard. Issues with this paint, because there's so much stuff on the internet, you know, what to use, how to clean it, stuff like that. And I kind of stay out of all of that. And the reason for that is that matte paint, you only get one shot. If you use the wrong product, you can damage it, which needs to be repainted, or it needs to be replaced. So in saying that, matte paint to me is one of the best paints you can ever have, because it's so easy to care for with the right products. Now, I'm not here to promote, sell, or do anything like that. I don't really sort of have the time for that. It's more about what I use. With this finish of matte paint, I would never glass coat it. Again, a lot of products and things that I use, it's because I've tested it. I don't care about brand, price, anything like that. It's all about what the best product for that purpose or for that scenario is. So I'm lucky enough to get a lot of sort of spare parts that come off bikes, either scratched or marked, so I can do a lot of testing because it has to be tested, and that's the only way to truly know if something's going to work or not by reading it off a sheet or hoping. A lot of things that I do, there's no textbook for, so I can't sort of go and read up about it. It's all trial and error, and the last thing I want to do is be doing trial and error on clients' bikes. Some of the bikes that I deal with are pretty exy, and I can't afford to replace panels and parts and things like that, and my insurance company wouldn't really appreciate that. So again, everything's tested to make sure that it's doing what it's meant to be doing. It's not damaging the finishing, it's not changing it in sort of any major way, and more of a negative way. So with this paint here, I'm going to use the Swiss Axe Opaque, the Bike Sheen Opaque, and the reason for that is that it's an actual product that was designed obviously by Swiss Axe, but it was designed in unison with Lamborghini, who 25 years ago started bringing matte paints to the automotive industry. They worked together, an Italian company and a Swiss company, and Lamborghini's been around for a while. Swiss Axe has been around even longer, since 1930. So they kind of know a little bit about what they're doing. So I'm going to sort of show you. So this is a bare panel. It's been treated with a pre-cleaner, and then it's also been panel wiped, so it's 100% clean as possible. Some may have known or seen the pre-pictures that I took. This side had heavily fingerprints, marks, stuff like that on it from when the guys did the PD. We've removed all of that, and now we're going to use a bit of the Bike Sheen. So this product is 100% natural, so there's no sort of additives, solvent based and stuff like that. And it's probably one of the easiest waxes to use. So you just load up your pad. I've put probably a million times too much, but I'm going to do half just to sort of show you the difference. Now with this wax, you don't want to use it on foil finishes. And what I mean by a foil finish or a textured finish is even on this bike, the tank itself. The tank is that brushed aluminium. If you use this on the tank, you can sort of mark it and etch it, and it's not good because it sticks into all the little fine hairs. So if you think matte paint is like little tiny hairs, and if you stick sort of waxes and stuff, it sticks into those hairs, you can't get it out, and it etches the finish and whitens it. Whereas this product is designed only for matte. You can't use it on gloss or different sort of paints. You can use it, it's just a waste of time. It's like putting toothpaste in your hair. You can do it, it's not going to damage your hair, but it's a waste of time. Whereas you do the opposite and you put, say, a gloss wax onto it, you will damage the finish. So again, use any brand you like, but the number one rule of thumb is make sure it actually says designed for matte paint, because then it shows that the manufacturer has actually done some form of testing to make sure. All right, so we just wipe it on, and then what I want to do, put that there, is we just need to buff off. You don't want to let it dry or anything like that, because the actual matte finish will get into the pores of the paint and will protect it. And then all you do is you just buff off, keep turning over your cloth, and this will sort of show you. And there's no pressure, just very gentle, and it will sort of give you an idea of how much more sort of, I would say, darker, more uniform, and also it adds a layer of protective properties, because it actually has 40% of carnauba wax in it, and again, a natural product. Now, I don't get paid by Swiss Axe, I don't get paid by anyone to do this. This is just purely for your entertainment and enjoyment and a bit of knowledge, passing it on. So there you go. So I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but I can visually see a difference. This is sort of very deep and dark, and this is very dry and sort of meh. So we're going to go and do the whole bike, everything that's painted matte black, and even the red sort of matte stripes is going to get coated in 2 coats of the Swiss Axe Bike Sheen Opaque, and then we're nearly on our way to finishing up. So you can see it just looks, yeah, I think it looks a lot nicer.
Well, we got the bike ready for the show at Corse Motorcycles. You can see it's all barricaded off for the general public. They can look, but you can't touch, especially after I've spent so much time on it. The day was fantastic. Everyone loved the bike. The general consensus was it's an amazing piece of machinery, and it definitely has its own place within, you know, the V4 lineup. You know, a lot of people commented on the finish, you know, the subtle differences. You know, the carbon was just oozing from it. It was a very, very, very cool bike, and very well received, you know, amongst you know, clients alike, young and old. So yeah, big thanks there to everyone that came down to Corse Motorcycles. For me, fantastic bike to work on. Enjoyed every minute of it. It's great to be able to do different variants of the same model, because you never stop learning, and you always see, you know, other things that you can improve on. So this is where we sort of end the video. If you like what you've seen, please let me know in the comments. We sort of get these rare exotics through on occasion, and I'm happy to sort of you know, shoot a little video to sort of showcase them and let people see them a little bit more in depth. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.